Entitled Mom gets mad I'm in my underwear in my own house. Background: I usually sleep in my underwear during summer since it gets hot in my house. I also have curtains on my windows. One day I woke up and made me a bowl of cereal since I was home alone. I'm 18, so I have a small house. I walk past my window to the kitchen when I hear a knock on the door. I'm still only in my underwear, so I hurry and get some shorts on. I open the door and see Entitled Mom and Entitled Daughter. Entitled Mom: "How dare you walk around in your underwear?" Me: "What the heck, I'm in my own house and I had the window closed with the curtains down." "My daughter got curious and peeked through your window and saw your underwear." Me: "Well, it's my house, so if I wanted to I could be naked in there." Slams door. I make my cereal while Entitled Mom continues to bang on the door and shout. I ignore her and play some Minecraft. Nice. Entitled Mom and Entitled Kid harass old man for being slow at the register. I force them to stop. This happened yesterday, and while I started as a mere eyewitness, I voluntarily got myself involved in the situation, otherwise I would have bled out due to my blood evaporating out of sheer anger at seeing such a disrespectful and disgusting act. I was at a supermarket picking out some random food for me, nothing important for the whole house, just junk food like chips, sodas, yada yada. I was walking by the register when I heard some commotion coming from the exclusive register. You know the one I'm talking about, right? Where only elders, disabled people or pregnant people are allowed. I don't know how it's pronounced in English, my bad. The commotion was from Entitled Mom and Entitled Kid shouting at old man for being slow at the register. By the way, it's not that he was slow, he just had a crap load of groceries in his cart, and therefore it would take a while for it to clear. Also, why the flip was Entitled Mom on the exclusive register? She didn't seem disabled, pregnant or old, maybe sick in the head, but that's not exclusive. Anyway, I was seeing this along with almost everyone nearby, although they were simply shaking their heads in disgust and continuing with their groceries. Because to be fair, nobody thought it would escalate further than that. However, old man was chill AF. Entitled Mom and Entitled Kid screeching wasn't affecting. I'm not exaggerating when I say he was paying no attention whatsoever. It's almost like old man didn't even realize they were there, but old man just rolled his eyes and continued putting his groceries at the register, while the woman at the register just sighed at Entitled Mom's behavior. I just stood there, dumbfounded at the lack of respect by Entitled Mom and Entitled Kid, who by the way was like 13, so he wasn't a little kid who didn't know better. Entitled Mom was yelling crap like, "Hurry up, old timer, we got places to be," or "For the love of God, hurry up already, or just let us go before you." Half of old man's groceries were being processed, so WTF. I just shook my head in disapproval, but crap escalated quickly after that, when old man was continuing to pay zero attention to Entitled Mom and Entitled Kid's shouting. Entitled Kid had the goal to rip old man's bag of rice out of his hands and violently threw it in his face. And old man obviously stumbled from being struck with a bag of rice in the face that weighed around 1 kilogram. That's 2 pounds for American people. At this, I was done. One thing you all need to know about me: I binge watch EntitledParents stories here every damn day, and every time I see stories like this, with other people being judged, targets of racism, being assaulted or wronged by some entitled butthole, my blood boils. No lie, I clench my fist in anger and keep softly punching my desk to calm myself down, because I absolutely loathe people like this. Hell, one unfortunate fool of an Entitled Mom got her lights knocked out by me when she tried to steal my phone. If you wanna hear this story, just tell me in comments. And I regret nothing from that day. I can't explain it, but I get more irate at seeing crap like this happen to other people rather than myself, because I know how to defend myself, and I refuse to take crap from any entitled mother or entitled kid, so seeing this, I decided to step in. With that small info about myself out of the way, I walked over to Entitled Mom and Entitled Kid, who were laughing at old man being hit with a bag of rice. Entitled Mom grabbed a can of beans and tried to put it in her cart. The register woman already called for security at this point, and while Entitled Mom was ready to put it in her cart, I literally grabbed her arm midway through and stopped her from doing so. Entitled Mom let out a glass-breaking, ear-ripping, teeth-shattering screech. And I actually cringed because of how loud it was. Entitled Mom began yelling at me, saying things like, "Let go of me, you stupid mother flipper! Don't touch me, you pervert!" Or my personal favorite, "Help, he's trying to rape me!" Old man sees me and tries to calm everyone down. Old man, please son, there's no need to interfere. I'm alright. I've seen women like her my entire life. I know how to handle this. Me, sorry, but this fool pissed me off. I can't believe she would do something like this. Entitled mom, let go, you disrespectful brat. I'm 21 by the way. You should have respect for your elder. I cut her off by simply squeezing her arm with so much force. She stops mid-sentence and screams in pain and drops the can of beans. And not only do I squeeze her arm, I twist it too at the same time. She actually drops down to one knee because I'm applying pressure right at the bones of her wrist. Trust me, that crap hurts. Entitled kid, let go of my mom, you mother flipper! Me, first off, I wouldn't flip your mom if she was the last woman on this goddamn planet. I'd start dating an animal before I'd ever think about flipping her. Secondly, you better shut the flip up before I stick my boat so far up your butt you'll be spitting out my shoelaces. I guess my intimidation tactics did not work because Entitled Kid laughed at me, trying to kick my knee. Also, Entitled Kid literally walked over to me instead of running and took his sweet time to stretch his leg to try and hit me, like 4 seconds to launch his kick. Within these 4 seconds, I had a brilliant idea. Entitled Mom was still down to her one knee, punching weakly, might I add, my arm to try to free herself. And as her Entitled Kid launched his kick, I quickly pulled Entitled Mom in by the wrist, still squeezing it, and Entitled Kid accidentally kicked his mom right on the ear. I let her go, obviously, and Entitled Mom was rolling around on the floor, with both hands on the ear where Entitled Kid kicked. She wasn't bleeding, but her ear did get a little red from the boot. Entitled Kid was crying, apologizing to his mom, before turning to me and laughing at me. What? Like he tried to tackle me with both arms stretched as if he was trying to hug me or something. This kid probably never got in a fight before. I just give him a shoulder tackle and he gets pushed back and collides with a small refrigerator beside the register. Just then, security guard comes and grabs me, almost tackling me to the floor, but I actually managed to free myself and I almost punched him before the cashier yelled, "Stop, security guard, he's not the one, it's those two on the ground." The security guard looks over and points at them, with his facial expression saying, "These two," and the cashier nods. Security guard turns to me and profusely apologizes, because when he arrived, he only saw me shoulder tackling Entitled Kid and seeing Entitled Mom rolling in the floor in pain, and assumed I was the attacker. I waved my hands going, "Oh no trouble sir, I completely understand. I probably would have done the same if I were in your shoes. You just arrived so you assumed the obvious. Trust me, there's no problem whatsoever. Besides, you are one hell of a grappler, I almost lost my balance." Nice. We both share a momentary laugh about it to cement the fact that there was no ill feeling from me, and security guard asks Entitled Mom if she's alright, and Entitled Mom points at me, her whole body shaking in anger, telling the security guard to arrest me for assaulting her. Security guard looks over and tells me that despite Entitled Mom being apparently in the wrong, security guard didn't know the details yet, so please don't think he was siding with Entitled Mom. I shouldn't have gone physical unless absolutely necessary. I tell the security guard that I didn't hit her, but her own son did. I added that Entitled Kid actually kicked her, and I simply squeezed her wrist to stop her from assaulting and stealing from Old Man. Old Man comes over and informs the security guard that what I was telling was the truth, and begs him not to punish me, because I was only defending him from Entitled Mom and Entitled Kid. Security guard nods and thanks me for stepping in, but should call the security next time instead of getting down to business myself. But I just jokingly replied with, "No promise." Security guard lifts Entitled Mom and Entitled Kid up, and with 3 more security guards, they escort Entitled Mom and Entitled Kid over to the manager's office, with me in tow. Management looks over the security tapes and sees how everything happened, and they kick Entitled Mom and Entitled Kid out of the supermarket and thank me for stepping in, but again tell me that I should just call for security next time. They offer me a 5% discount and I accept. Hey, I'm no goddamn saint, I wouldn't refuse out of some "I don't do it for reward" type of crap. If a chance comes for me to spend less money than I'm supposed to, as long as it's okay with everyone else that offers it, I'll take it. Call me a choosing beggar if you want, lol. That's not choosing begging. After I leave the office, Old Man was there waiting for me and thanks me again for defending him, and said that his ex-wife was just like Entitled Mom and living with her for 5 years taught him how to handle Entitled Moms, so it wasn't total waste. We both share a laugh and Old Man leaves while I continue with my groceries. Careless mom puts child down in my soap. Wants me to replace the clothes she ruined. I'm sitting in the lunchroom at my work eating my soap while watching Fresh Prince on my phone, and some woman I have never met before enters the lunchroom and without even looking drops her baby carrier, diaper bag and shopping bags. We work across from the mall, at the table where I'm eating. The baby carrier catches the edge of the bowl, throwing delicious pea soap up into the air and onto the baby carrier, and all over one of her shopping bags which had been set down on a chair. It was actually really impressive, and I'm kinda bummed that no one else saw that happen. Before the pea soap has even landed, the lady has left the lunchroom and is gone to talk to our boss. I take a look at the baby and it doesn't look like the baby got any soup of him or her and isn't burned, so my good deed for the day is done. I leave the mess. I only have 13 minutes of lunch and this fool just wasted 10 minutes of it. I'm not about to spend the rest of my lunch cleaning her mess and head out the door to grab some McDonald's across the street. Wanted to let entitled mom know what she did on my way out, but she was in my boss's office with the doors closed and I was hungry. I get back from McDonald's with 1 minute to spare to get back to my desk. I get back, log in, and immediately my supervisor comes over and gives me the "we're not supposed to eat at our desk" talk, and I tell him what happened. He walks over to the lunchroom, peeks inside. He chuckles a little, then turns back to me. "Enjoy your lunch," he says. Once I'm about halfway through my McChicken, my supervisor tells me to go to the boss's office, so I do. My boss and a very furious entitled mom are sitting there. My boss asks why I dropped my soup all over entitled mom's things. I didn't. Boss. Were you the one eating pea soup in the lunchroom? Yes. Boss. So how did entitled mom's stuff get covered in pea soup? Me. Well, I was sitting down eating and she walked in and dropped the baby carrier on my food while I was eating it. Soup went everywhere and I wasn't about to spend the rest of my lunch cleaning it or go the rest of the day without eating because some person I've never met is throwing babies around the lunchroom. So I went across the street and bought another lunch. Entitled mom gets shrill. "He's lying! He did it on purpose and now all of my new clothes are ruined! He could have burned the baby! You are going to pay me back for everything you destroyed! The carrier!" Already covered in dry puke. "The clothes!" Her fault. "And the purse!" Didn't have a purse. Me. What could I possibly gain by dumping soap on your things? You know what? Flip it, boss. Just go look under the baby carrier. Boss. What's under the baby carrier? Me. Prove that she's lying. Entitled mom gives me the most confused look I have ever seen someone make. It was a combination of "What are you talking about?" and "Why are you doing this to me?" I think she actually thought that I did damage her stuff on purpose, and she could not believe that she could have done something so stupid. Which is funny because there has been an unsupervised infant in the lunchroom for 30 minutes now. Entitled mom chases after boss and I'm following right behind them. When we get to the lunchroom, a small crowd had gathered around the baby because of that sweet natural 18 charisma. The boss asks everyone to clear out. Boss didn't even have to move the carrier. Sure enough, under the carrier, half sticking out, they find the paper towel I had put down as a placemat, the plastic utensils I had set out, the plate I had under my bowl, and the baggie of saltines I had brought in from home. My boss sighs. Entitled mom, go home. Entitled mom, what about my stuff? Boss, take your things and go home. As it turns out, she was one of the supervisors who had been on maternity leave since before I started. She had come in because her and the boss were friends, and she wanted to come by and show off all the clothes she had bought now that her figure came back. She blew her entire check on clothes that are now covered in pea soup and can't be returned. She took my half a McChicken on the way out and threw it in the garbage. My boss gave me a McDonald's gift card that she keeps for rewards. Most calls, best reviews, etc. and gave me an extra break to go get another McChicken. I start supervisor training next week. Glad I won't have to work under entitled mom. On the screen you have a story of entitled dad taking OP by the neck and slamming him into the wall in front of everybody because his wife told him to do that. Then the police arrives and a lot of big stuff happens. And the other story is 4 kids trying to drown and kill OP and his girlfriend.